Main event of the night, the Elimination Chamber match. We have Randy Orton defending the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, even though he carries around both titles still, and they never refer to it as being the Unified Championship anymore, against Sheamus, John Cena, Daniel Bryan, Cesaro, and Christian. I originally thought when they announced these people that this was a guarantee that Christian and Cesaro were just going to get their asses kicked, and I had a full-on prediction of, the order that it was going to happen and all this other kind of stuff, but I'll be damned if they didn't change my mind about that with Cesaro. And right now, I don't know who's going to end up being what, but one thing that's pretty much a guarantee is Randy Orton's going to come out of this with the championship, and Daniel Bryan has to get screwed in some kind of fashion, whether it's by Kane or by Triple H himself or by the Wyatt family, or maybe the Wyatt family screws John Cena, and that's how they work that back into there. I don't know what's necessarily going to happen, but one thing I'd like to see is if we're going to have the Wyatt family against one of these people, and it's not going to be like a tag team match or something like that, because there were rumors that we were going to have John Cena against all three members of the Wyatt family or something like that. If we're going to get that, I'd rather just see it be Sheamus and just throw it on the middle of the fucking card and not put any focus on it whatsoever. Give John Cena a different spot. But I don't want Randy Orton to only win here through bullshit. If he can beat Daniel Bryan through that means, fine. But have him get a legitimate pin over somebody. Whether it's Sheamus, John Cena, even Christian at some point. Just fucking... He needs to pin at least one person. Everybody else can have a good showing and all that, but Randy Orton really, really needs it. And I don't know if they're necessarily going to do that. So that's a shame. But Randy Orton's my pick. He's going to come out of this on top. Pay-per-view's going to end with a stare down of Batista and him or something like that. And then that'll be it. And then Monday Night Raw will come along, and they'll be focused on Hulk Hogan and Sting and The Undertaker and all that kind of stuff. And they'll just be like, that waste of time pay-per-view. Don't worry about it. Peyton, what do you think about the Elimination Chamber match?
My gut feeling is telling me that it's just going to be a simple Randy Orton victory. I wouldn't even expect any type of shenanigans going on there. It's just going to be I don't want to say just a typical chamber match, because I guess there's no such thing as a typical chamber match, but I think it'll be the most uneventful chamber match of all time is what we may be looking at here. I would like to believe that we'll get some type of curveball person winning this, like a Sheamus or a Cesaro, but I really don't think there's a snowball's chance in hell. I think we're just going to get the expected match of Orton versus Batista. Evolution explodes at WrestleMania 30.
Ugh. Drew, what do you think?
Voice crack. That's what's up.
Crack.
But I'm kind of in the same boat. You shouldn't really expect anything out of the ordinary. Expect a Randy Orton win. It makes no sense that he lose to all these people going up to the Elimination Chamber and then him still lose it. There's got to be a point in losing all those. He's gonna overcome the odds. Mango, you said something that he needs to at least eliminate one person and win. Well, he's got to eliminate one person to win still. So,
True.
Stuff happens. But anyways, and then as soon as Randy Orton pins Daniel Bryan, all the internet's gonna explode like, oh, they're burying Bryan. Why the fuck is Bryan champion? If I'm not gonna watch WWE, the usual stuff with that. And then everyone's gonna be pissed off. We're gonna go into WrestleMania, and we're gonna have Randy Orton and Batista as the main event, and that's gonna be my shit break.
You know what I just thought? I don't even think you could put Bryan in this match, because if Bryan is in this match and he gets pinned, whoever pins him is not going to make it out of that building alive. Like, you think Rey Mysterio got booed? Whoever does that, they're going to tear him apart like wolves.
Well, I've got a feeling I know how it's going. He's definitely getting screwed by the Authority in this match.
What if Brock Lesnar comes and attacks Daniel Bryan and then takes his spot? Because Daniel Bryan is already kind of beat up. He's already going to have a hard time going in there. So what if someone like Brock Lesnar shows up and finishes the job? Because Brock has insisted time and again that he is going to have a title shot at this pay-per-view.
No, honestly, I could see that happening, and maybe have Lesnar winning the title to go into.
And then that's a good excuse to put Bryan in the main event match at WrestleMania, because he got screwed out of the Elimination Chamber.
So Batista, Brock Lesnar, and Bryan?
Hell yeah, that sounds awesome.
That would be fucking crazy, I'll tell you that.
It'd be the most random matchup ever, but I could almost see him throw Randy Orton in there because he didn't fight the opponents he was scheduled to.
Yeah, why the fuck not? Yeah, let's do it. 4 corners at WrestleMania again.
Oh, you know what? It's been a while. Shit.
Who would face Undertaker?
John Cena.
Gene Snitsky.
What would you do with Sheamus? Have him against the Wyatt family?
You could do anything with fucking Sheamus. Are you serious? Yeah, you could have him in a 6-man tag against the Wyatt family, though. Like I said, I would do Wyatt's and Shield. So I don't know. Have Sheamus fight fucking Del Rio or something. It doesn't matter.
But then the Intercontinental Championship or something like that.
Have Del Rio lose in 18 seconds. People will love that.
That leaves Triple H with no match, though.
Triple H doesn't need a match.
You don't think so? I think he definitely does.
No, he doesn't. Triple H is not the Undertaker. He doesn't just automatically get a match at every WrestleMania. If he wants to show up like when it's relevant, that's fine. And you could definitely make a case for him having a match, particularly with Punk or Bryan. But if Bryan has
CM Punk this year,
if Bryan has bigger plans and Punk is off the table, you're not going to get that done. So just let it go. Triple H won't have a match. I hope.
He's wrestling Punk.
You still think that's a work?
It's definitely a work.
Oh my god, I can't wait till it's not a work. Even when you realize it's not a work, you're gonna be like, it's not a work.
You can never really prove something's not a work. That's the thing.
The thing is, though, I'm gonna say it's a work up until the day of Mania. I'm gonna wait 2 years later. It's a work. It's the biggest work in pro wrestling. When he comes back in 2 years, told you, motherfucker.
It's a bigger work than the Montreal Screwjob. You'll see.
It's going to be like 4 minutes left in the pay-per-view of WrestleMania. And you're going to be like, nope, they're still going to have that match. they're putting off the pyro.
This makes it so obvious that they're waiting to the last minute. See?
Look, just because they're doing the pyro doesn't mean it's not a work.
Just because they're doing the final package at the end of the night, reviewing every match on the card, doesn't mean it's not going to happen.
Saying we're going to see you next year at WrestleMania 31. Yeah.
Just because the replay's starting doesn't mean anything. Maybe he'll show up on the replay.
What was we doing again?
Well, I don't know about the whole Daniel Bryan situation, though. I don't think that it's going to get as big of a response as the Royal Rumble thing, because I think people are going to get to the point where they realize he's not going to win this one. Although a lot of people do still have a little bit of hope that he's going to go in as a champion, I think a lot of people have kind of, I don't want to say like given up, but sort of.
Given up.
Where is it? Oh, it's in Minneapolis. Yeah, it's not a very hot crowd.
I think it'll get boos, and people won't be happy, but it's not going to be like a riot or anything.
Can I just say that the poster for Elimination Chamber is pretty damn cool?
What, of Stephanie?
Of Stephanie, like with her hands holding over it like it's a crystal ball or something, but she has that really evil look on her face.
It's kind of the evil version of that Royal Rumble one that they had with Santino.
Yeah,
that's what I was about to say.
The Chambers at Minneapolis?
Yeah.
Man, Brock does show up. He's going to get a huge pop.
Is he from there?
Oh, yeah, he is.
Oh.
He went to college in Minnesota, didn't he?
Minnesota Wrecking Crew.
Pretty sure he doesn't live there anymore, but damn, he'd still get a big pop.
No, I think he lives in like Florida now or
He
something.
lives. He lives out in the woods in a real rural area. He doesn't like people apparently.
Oh,
I can see that.
Yeah, he has Sable. That's all he needs.
That's like one of the least biggest surprises out there. Brock Lesnar does not like people.
Yeah, there was a fucking UFC question Q&A with Dana White, and this little kid that was about 5 years old went. Big question was: is Brock Lesnar a people person? Nope.
Yeah, it says Brock Lesnar resides in Alexandria, Minnesota. Where the fuck that is?
Oh, we just lost the Alexandria crowd.
So my next ask him is, where the fuck is Brock Lesnar from?
Then the next ask him is, where the fuck is Alexandria, Minnesota?
The next question is Brock Lesnar. Oh, fuck.
So we all think Orton's coming out on top, or Wego, did you have any other opinion?
I never get an opinion, but yeah, I think Randy Orton's coming out on top. I think we're going to see Orton screwed by the Authority. If that has nothing to do with Brock Lesnar, we'll see. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see something like we saw with Shawn Michaels knocking the panel up and Bray Wyatt screwing Cena. See a couple of screw jobs in this match. They're going to build to a lot of things.
Wait, you said that Orton was going to get screwed. You think Orton's going to get screwed?
No, sorry, Daniel Bryan's going to get screwed, and I wouldn't mind. I'd probably expect Cena and Daniel Bryan to both get screwed in this match.
Now, what if, and this is just playing devil's advocate here, what if they change their plans around enough where Triple H has been kind of soured on Randy Orton for quite a while now, and he keeps mentioning other people that he's interested in, and he's a little chummy with Batista. What if we get the reversals of this situation here, and we have either Randy Orton versus Batista going into WrestleMania with Batista being the heel and Randy Orton being the babyface, or we get somebody wins. I don't really know necessarily who. Maybe Daniel Bryan wins, and the people that are interested in that get what they are looking for. Maybe even Triple H's influence really takes over here, and we get Sheamus winning out of fucking nowhere, and he goes into WrestleMania as a babyface champion against a heel Batista who joins the Authority, and he's like the new person. And Randy Orton is the person who ends up facing Triple H at WrestleMania because they've been doing a whole bullshit back and forth between them arguing. I don't think it'll happen, I'll say that. But devil's advocate.
We're so getting Randy Orton versus Batista.
Right. I mean, it seems like it's 99% sure kind of a thing happened, but if they ended up going with something weird like that, would that be better or would that be worse? What do you guys think?
It'd just be better because, fuck me, Orton versus Batista is such a boring concept.
I just don't think there's any way you're going to get Randy Orton over as a babyface in this short amount of time.
Yeah, you're not gonna have enough time. There's still gonna be people who are gonna boo him just because he was a champion over Daniel Bryan, anyways.
I think they're running into very dangerous Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar territory with this match.
I think they just need to. I just think they need to come up with a bullshit way where Daniel Bryan ends up getting slotted into that match, even if it means like a double pin or some bullshit with the final two in the chamber. They need to figure a way of getting him in that match. Because Triple H versus CM Punk's going to happen, so Triple H is taken care of. So this is what. So they just need to find a way of slotting Daniel Bryan in.
Well, we all know that that's going to be the main event of the night in the last 4 minutes of the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so those are our opinions about what's going to happen for the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. One last thing that we need to do in the next part is go over what's happening with the Fantasy League, round out some plugs, and then that'll be it for episode 119.